In the heart of the peaceful pine forest lived a baby porcupine named Prickles. He was cute, he was fuzzy, but he had a big, dangerous problem. Every single time he hiccuped, he shot quills everywhere. It wasn't just a little puff. Oh no, hic, poof. 20 quills would rocket in all directions like a volley of tiny, spiky arrows. Now, you might think, don't all porcupines shoot quills? Not like this. Normal porcupines have control. They can raise their quills as a warning, but Prickles, his hiccups were an involuntary quill-launching catastrophe. Hic, there go the brand new living room curtains, riddled with holes. Hic, his dad's morning newspaper was suddenly pinned to the wall. Hic, the fruit bowl on the table exploded with a quill stuck perfectly in every single apple. His poor mom, peeking from behind the couch, pleaded, Prickles, you have to get this under control. You've destroyed 3 sofas this week alone. Prickles, with tears in his eyes, could only cry out, I can't. Hic, stop, and poof, another wave of quills shot out, narrowly missing his little brother, who had to duck and roll like an action hero just to get a glass of water. They just hic shoot out on their own. The other porcupines in the forest were terrified. Whispers followed him everywhere he went. Stay away from Hiccup-Prickles, they'd say. He's a walking weapon. One hiccup and you're a human pincushion. Nobody wanted to play with him. The playgrounds would empty the second he arrived. They even had to cancel school one day because he had a particularly bad case of the hiccups. Prickles felt completely alone. He sat under a big oak tree, trying every remedy he could think of to stop the hiccups. He held his breath until he turned blue. It didn't work. He tried drinking water upside down. That just resulted in a shower of quills all over the grass. His best friend even tried to scare the hiccups out of him, jumping out from behind a bush and yelling boo. But all that did was make Prickles sick, and now his friend was decorated with a dozen quills. Nothing worked. Sobbing, Prickles looked up at the lonely peak in the distance. I'm just too dangerous, he whispered to himself. I should go live all by myself on Lonely Mountain. At least there, I can't hurt anyone. He felt like his strange problem had no solution, that he was destined to be an outcast forever. But that very night, everything changed. While the forest was fast asleep, disaster struck. 3 sneaky raccoon bandits, experts in thievery, broke into the forest bank. Alarms blared, but it was too late. They stuffed their sacks with all the acorn savings the community had stored for the winter. The brave squirrel guards tried to stop them, but the raccoons were too fast, too clever, and too slippery. We need backup, the Badger police chief yelled into his radio, but the raccoons were already making their getaway. They ducked into the narrow tunnel path, a secret shortcut through the woods. It was so tight and winding that the bigger police officers couldn't follow them. They're getting away with everything, someone shouted in despair. Just then, watching the chaos from a distance, Prickles had a flash of inspiration. A wild idea. Wait a minute. I can fit through that tunnel, he exclaimed. And my hiccups. They're not a curse, they're like a Quill machine gun. The police chief's eyes went wide. That's genius. Go Prickles, go get M. With a newfound sense of purpose, Prickles zipped after the raccoons and squeezed into the narrow tunnel. The bandits, hearing the tiny footsteps behind them, turned and laughed. What's this? What's a little baby porcupine gonna do to us? Oh, they were about to find out. The chase, the darkness, the pressure. It all made Prickles nervous. And what happens when Prickles gets nervous? He hiccups. Hic hic hic. A relentless barrage of quills shot down the tunnel like a scene from an action movie. The raccoons tried to dodge and weave, but it was no use. Poke a quill in the tail. Poke. One in their sack of acorns. Poke a poke. Poke squills stuck in their masks, their backs, their bottoms. Ow. Ouch. Yowie. We surrender. We give up. They screamed, dropping the stolen acorn sacks and scrambling out of the tunnel with quills sticking out of them everywhere. They looked like terrified furry cacti running for their lives. The entire forest erupted in cheers. The crowd lifted Prickles onto their shoulders. The police chief approached, holding a shiny gold medal. He placed it around Prickles' neck very carefully. Prickles, he announced, your uncontrollable hiccups just saved our bank. You are a hero. Prickles beamed, puffing out his chest with pride. See, I'm not dangerous, he said with a huge smile. I'm a hic defense system. And with that final hiccup, a single quill shot straight up into the air and landed perfectly in the chief's hat like a feather. Everyone laughed. From that day on, Prickles became the official forest security guard. His biggest problem had become his greatest strength. And whenever there was trouble, the call would go out. Prickles, we need your hiccups. And that's the story of how the most dangerous problem in the forest became its very best security system. What did you think of Prickles' unique superpower? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching.